right, the 27th of August 2025. We're at 9:27 p.m. and of course you're having a look at the Dumbbell Planetary Nebula Messier 27 as our kickoff view of the evening. I'm running 10-second exposures, getting views that I would expect to get in the Rev 2 at 2.5 seconds, but the sky is a bit clouded out. So because the moon is now about 3 days post-new, despite the seeing conditions, I wanted to go ahead and do some real-time imaging despite the conditions. So there's our first look. That is the Dumbbell Planetary Messier 27. Here we have another 10-second view, but we're using ASI, I believe it's ASI Live. Previous view was done with a different version that doesn't stack the images. So we're getting several stacks of 10 seconds each. Also ASI, I believe this is ASI Live. I should have checked it more closely. Also has the capacity for noise reduction. And I do believe the view is more extensive, especially of the nebulosity protruding around the equator of the 14th magnitude central star. So we will stay with the ASI Live approach for the rest of the evening. Here we're having our first pass view at 10 seconds using ASI Air without actually adjusting the histogram. I think I'll let it default for the course of the evening. The background sky looks beautiful, well populated with really nice looking stars that are very close to being an eyepiece view, but of a much larger telescope. We're of course seeing the Crescent Nebula NGC 6888. I'll do a quick zoom, filling the field with it. Once again, 10-second view on a not particularly good night with high thin clouds overhead. I'll be lucky to be able to make out the Milky Way at all this evening. Here by way of review again, we're seeing NGC 6992, the eastern veil, which is the brightest and most textured part of the supernova remnant that went off about 15,000 years ago in eastern Cygnus. So that is our view, and not bad. We're not using any nebula filter. We're just using the straight views that we're getting off of the ZWO imager, and I'm not even touching the histogram. I'm allowing it to automatically determine the settings. Okay, what we're seeing here, or should I better say not seeing here, is the North American nebulosity. In NGC 7000 Cygnus, we're operating at about a 100x. Really, you really want to be down in the 25 to 30x magnification to be able to make out the luminosity associated with this fourth magnitude 2 by half arc-minute size emissive nebula, 1,800 light-years distant, at right ascension 20 hours, 59 minutes, 20 seconds, with a declination almost pushing to the limits of plus 44 degrees, 13 minutes. There is our view. So let's go on to more adventitious studies for the evening. All right, not a bad view of a galaxy right there on the field. Let's go ahead and push the magnification to first about 150x. The galaxy is NGC 7003 in Delphinus. It's magnitude 13, 1.1 by 0.8 arc-minutes, so basically about a 13 magnitude average surface brightness. 240 million light-years distant means it's probably somewhere around 75,000 light-years in diameter. We're at right ascension 21 hours and 42 seconds. Declination plus 17 degrees, 48 minutes, and 17 seconds. We're seeing a bright, not star-like central core bleeding off into a spiralicity, pretty much presented face-on. There does seem to be a region right here that's a little brighter, maybe a star-forming H2 region. This could be a much brighter version of NGC 7003, but this is a globular cluster in Delphinus, magnitude 10.6, 2.8 arc-minutes in size. Its brightest stars are magnitude 15.6. Why don't we see if we can resolve a few of them? And yes, we can. Assuming they're not line-of-sight stars, let's push this up to about 100%, which is 300x. Center it in the field. This is a class 1, so highly condensed, maximally condensed globular cluster, 133,000 light-years distant. Clearly, it is beyond our own Milky Way galaxy. In the direction of Delphinus, which is off the axis of the Milky Way, it's at right ascension 21 hours, 1 minute, 29 seconds, with a declination of plus 16 degrees, 11 minutes, 14 seconds. There's our view. Here we're seeing a nice bright galaxy, NGC 7013 in Cygnus, magnitude 11.3, 3-to-1 aspect ratio, 4.5 by 1.4 arc-minutes, spiral of the lowercase a mere 35 million light-years distance, so no more than 40,000 light-years in diameter. It's at right ascension 21 hours, 3 minutes, 33 seconds, with a declination of plus 29 degrees, 53 minutes, 49 seconds. We are definitely staying in the sky's middle third this evening. Let's go ahead and push this a little bit to at least 150x. Galaxy has got nice extension. There's some faint extensions going off in this direction. We're seeing the core and the core region. We're seeing here is a largish open cluster in Cygnus, 10 arc-minutes in size, 5,700 light-years distant, maybe 50 plus stars. It's at right ascension 21 hours, 6 minutes, 9 seconds, with a declination of plus 41 degrees, 29 minutes, and 22 seconds. Hopefully, this is our galaxy right here. NGC 7028 is a galaxy in Delphinus, magnitude 15. That could be its blue-violet. It's classed as a spiral, which means it's probably not much fainter than magnitude 14.5 if in the visual. 218 million light-years distant puts it at about 60,000 light-years in diameter. It's at right ascension 21 hours, 5 minutes, 50 seconds, with a declination of plus 18 degrees, 28 minutes, and 6 seconds. We'll do a bit of zoomage here. And I think, despite the fact that most of the stars are getting an aura around them, possibly due to a slight amount of misfocus, but also possibly due to light scatter caused by high clouds, and I do not want to reset the focus at 10-second exposure times, although I may play with it a little bit when I pause recording at minute 12 to 15. So that should be NGC 7028. Smallish, 0.8 by 0.4, 218 million light-years distant. I'm hoping we're seeing NGC 7033, a galaxy in Pegasus, magnitude 14.1, with the caveat that it could be the blue-violet magnitude. Maybe one of these faint fuzzies in here. I recommend going to Steve Gottlieb's site at adventuresindeepspace.com to confirm, because he often cites the location associated with brightish stars, such as one in the middle of the field. 7033 is magnitude 14.1, 1.1 by 0.8 arc minutes, a lenticular spiral. So if that's, it looks 14.1 as far as I can tell, 404 million light years distant, which puts it fairly large at about 140,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 21 hours, 9 minutes, 36 seconds, with a declination of plus 15 degrees, 7 minutes, and 27 seconds. Well, a hop, but without a skip and a jump, from 7033 is 7034, which I believe to be this galaxy here. This is probably 33. This is 34. Galaxy in Pegasus, magnitude 13.8, 1 by 0.7 arc minute, elliptical, 398 million light years distant, with a right ascension of 21 hours, 9 minutes, 38 seconds, and a declination of plus 15 degrees, 9 minutes, and 0 seconds. We are seeing here is a very loose small cluster, NGC 7036 in Pegasus, magnitude 12, 8 by 5 arc minutes, 3,300 light years distant, right ascension 21 hours, 10 minutes, 12 seconds, with a declination of plus 15 minutes, 22 seconds, 22 minutes, and 36 seconds. Okay, we're getting a little farther south now with NGC 7040, a galaxy in Equus, the horse. Very faint, magnitude 14.9, but that could be the blue-violet. It's a spiral with peculiarities. 0.9 by 0.8 arc minutes, 275 million light years distant, about 80,000 light years in diameter, with a right ascension of 21 hours, 13 minutes, 16 seconds, and a declination of 8 degrees, 51 minutes, 53 seconds. This one's been growing on us, so I suspect it is our NGC 7040. I am going to cross my fingers, pause, and close out the tool I'm using to capture these images and hope that I haven't lost everything, and that we shall return. Hey, it's now not, got it. It's now 9:58 on the 27th of August, 2025. I do believe I have managed to sharpen up the stars again. And I had to go into ASI Live. This is ASI Live. I'll have to get that straightened out. Anyway, that 14th magnitude galaxy right there, 14.9, is much more present now. So the focus was distinctly off. We're once again at NGC 7040 in Equus, magnitude 14.9, 0.9 by 0.8 arc minutes, spiral with peculiarities, 275 million light years distant, about 80,000 light years in diameter, right ascension 21 hours, 13 minutes, 16 seconds, with a declination of 8 degrees, 51 minutes, and 53 seconds in the northerly direction. Here we have a nice brightish galaxy, NGC 7042 in Pegasus, magnitude 12, 2 by 1.8 arc minutes, so it probably has about a 13.5 average surface brightness. It's a spiral with a lowercase b, twice removed from lenticular. It does have a neighbor. There is some definite sense of texture with a bright stellar core. We're at 21 hours, 13 minutes, 45 seconds with a declination of plus 13 degrees, 34 minutes, 29 seconds. Let's do some zoomage on this and see what those stars look like. Here we're at 100x, and we're getting a nice resolution on this bright, fainter double star. So what, 150x, let's push it up to 300 and get a view. Oh yes. However, the stars are looking bloated, but they do not have that faint aura around the outside, indicative of being out of focus. So sorry if it was out of focus earlier. I did the best I could initially. Sometimes the scope will change its focal point as temperatures change. Nice spiral sense in this galaxy, isn't there? Well, folks, the scope is partially blocked, but that doesn't seem to have affected our view of NGC 7048 Planetary Nebula in Cygnus. Magnitude 11, 60 by 50 arc seconds, with a magnitude 18 central star. Boy, I can't believe if that's the central star there, but there's certainly something lining up with it. No, there's the central star. Wow, the night sky is better than I would expect. If that truly is our central star of planetary nebula NGC 7048. 5,300 light years distant, with a right ascension of 21 hours, 14 minutes, 15 seconds, and a declination of 46 degrees, 17 minutes, 17 seconds. How do you do? Okay, it's pretty obvious what we're seeing here. A faintish edge-on appearing galaxy. This is NGC 7068 in Pegasus. Magnitude 14.8, it's 0.7 by 0.3 arc minute, spiral with some peculiarities. Nice sharp view. I'm glad I perfected the focus a little bit better. 236 million light years distant, puts it at about 50,000 light years in diameter, with a right ascension of 21 hours, 26 minutes, 32 seconds, and a declination of plus 12 degrees, 11 minutes, and 2 seconds. Let's push the magnification to 300x. And there's our view, chorus region with extensions. A little bit blurry, but at least the stars now don't have an aura of luminosity around them. This is a 300x view of potentially a purely 14.8 visual magnitude galaxy in Pegasus. Okay, folks, here's where really setting a precise focus really helps. We're seeing NGC 7078, a globular cluster in Pegasus, also aka M15, magnitude 6.4, 12.3 arc minutes in size. Its brightest stars are magnitude 12.6, and they all look fairly sparkly to me. It's a class 4, so slightly on the more condensed side of globulars, 33,000 light years distant, has a right ascension of 21 hours, 29 minutes, 58 seconds, and a declination of plus 12 degrees, 10 minutes, and 1 second. Let's push the magnification until it fills the screen at 300x, and even go the lengths of centering it up. Once again this evening, I have not played with the histogram whatsoever. I think the views that it's automating are quite nice, personally. Another sharpish view of a globular cluster. This one's NGC 7089, an Aquarius, also known as Messier 2. The second entry in the Messier catalog after, I believe it was the Crab Nebula with Messier 1. Cumulative magnitude of 6.5, 11.7 arc minutes in size, so similar to Messier 15. Brightest stars are magnitude 13.1. It's a class 2, so even more condensed. 37,000 light years distant. Right ascension is 21 hours, 33 minutes, 27 seconds, but it's slightly below the equator at minus 49 minutes, 23 seconds. Despite that, we are getting a solid view. Centering it up, here's Messier 2 for you, me, and for you. What we have here is a planetary nebula in the early stages of planetarizing. It's in Pegasus. It's magnitude 13.4, but its central star is 13.6. You can vaguely make out some nebulosity around this planetary. It blows me away that somebody was able to discover it. Interesting to find out who did. It's magnitude 13.4, very large, 99 by 91 arc seconds. That 13.6 magnitude central star. 4,400 light years distant, with a right ascension of 21 hours, 36 minutes, 52 seconds, and a declination of plus 12 degrees, 47 minutes, 19 seconds. I am tempted to play with the histogram, but will not. It is clearly located here with its 13.6 magnitude progenitor star. Right about here, we are seeing NGC 7100, a galaxy in Pegasus. Adding a little magnification to 150x. It's a magnitude 14.7, 0.7 by 0.7 arc minutes, 375 million light years distant, puts it at about 75,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension, 21 hours, 39 minutes, 34 seconds, with a declination of plus 8 degrees, 52 minutes, and 37 seconds. So I'm going to leave off our adventitious studies at 7100 for the evening, and then perhaps we'll resume on another decent night when the moon isn't too much of a problem. But I do want to have a look at maybe the field around Pluto. So let's see if we can turn it up and possibly, let's go to NGC 7331 first. By way of experimentation, this is a 0.2 second exposure time of a fairly bright but not Messier galaxy, NGC 7331, quite present in the field. Its magnitude 9.5, 10.2 by 4.2 arc minutes. All we're making out is the core with a brief amount of extensions. It is 10.2 by 4.2, which means pretty oblately presented, spiral with a bar and a lowercase c. A mere 46 million light years distant, but that means it's about the size of Messier 31 at 150,000 light years in diameter. Right ascension is 22 hours, 37 minutes, 4 seconds, with a declination of plus 34 degrees, 24 minutes, 57 seconds. That is a good, what I would describe as a 6-inch view. Let's move on to a 12-inch view. All right, here we have a 1-second exposure, which is basically equivalent to a 12-inch scope. I boosted the magnification up to 150x. We're seeing quite a bit of extension in the galaxy. We're seeing a dark lane with some bright extensions off in the distance, the core region and nebulosity extends quite extensively out at 150x. Several neighboring galaxies. It's probably a group based on 7331. 7331 is a 9.5 magnitude galaxy, which I hope I listed all that under the 6-inch view. So we're at 34 degrees up and 22 hour 37 minutes. We're getting quite a good view at 150x at 1 second exposure time, the equivalent of what I consider to be a 12-inch telescope aperture. Okay, I've now boosted the magnification up to about 200x, and this is meant to represent a view that is comparable to what I would consider to be about, I've increased the exposure time by 2, adding 0.8 arc minutes, so about a 6, probably an 18-inch scope. We've really enhanced some of the extension off to the sides. We see the supernova that is going off right now in NGC 7331. However, it is late in its stage. Several neighboring galaxies in a galaxy group. The galaxy itself is magnitude 9.5, 10.2 by 4.2 arc minutes, 46 million light years distant, and is therefore about the size of Messier 31. Very nice view. I am tempted to play with the histogram. So there's a little bit of enhancement using the histogrammic function. The first time I have used it this evening. This is quite a decent view, very comparable, except for the stars, which are a little bit more bloated, to the eyepiece view I had at the star party for the Santa Cruz Astronomy Club recently at the last new moon. Very nice view, 2-second exposure. Let's push it again. All right, I did play with histogram settings a little bit, and I will continue to adjust them slightly. We're now at a 10-second exposure time, which I would consider to be something that approximates to a 10-second exposure time. One was the 12-inch, that means 4 would have been a 24. So we're up to about a 48 to 50-inch telescope eyepiece view. This will be our Carpe Noctem view of the evening of NGC 7331, that galaxy in Pegasus, magnitude 9.5, 10.2 by 4.2 arc minutes in apparent size, with a size in reality about that of Messier 31, 150,000 light years across. It's a spiral with a bar and a lowercase c, 46 million light years distant, right ascension 22 hours 37 minutes 4 seconds, and a declination of plus 34 degrees 24 minutes 57 seconds. Hey, I did get a view of Pluto through Dean's 15-inch scope. There were 3 stars that pointed it out. They were triangular. I have no idea how far the planet is moved. I am not able to tell you which, because I'm not seeing a triangulated stars, but he was using much higher magnification. Let's go to that. See if we can find a triangle of stars. Well, that may be it. And Pluto is located off in this direction, about magnitude 14. This is probably our triangle of stars, but it may have moved a little bit since then. So if we assume this is our triangle of stars, we may very well be seeing the planet Pluto. And with this, I will say, Carpe Noctem once again.